A giant Chinese dino found a man unconscious on the ground. Kindly, he decided to save him. The man gradually regained consciousness. Then the Chinese dino stood up and stepped on the ground. After turning over the body for the man, he left. In a hurry. The sober man found a terrible scene. The boiling lava was dripping from afar, but he couldn't move after being numb. He had to struggle with his legs and roll backward. He managed to turn over and climb a tree. That's how he got away with it. 3 years ago, after the explosion, Zoology Park was severely damaged and closed. Without human intervention, the dinosaurs lived a comfortable life on the island, but there were always people who were 3 feet away from the dinosaurs' genes. They opened the park's gate to let the submarine sneak into the cage. Just when they were about to retreat, there was an ancient beast behind them. At the same time, the man on the shore found that the submarine's signal was lost and immediately controlled the gate to the sea. But at this time, the teammates on the helicopter were shouting anxiously to let him be careful. The man looked back in a hurry. Suddenly, the helicopter under the King's Dragon threw his teammates off and took off. The man also accidentally lost his controller on the way to escape. The controller was crushed by the King's Dragon, which caused the gate to close and stop at this moment. Fortunately, the man caught the teammate's kick and escaped at the last moment. But when he was glad of his own luck, finally, Kang Long also swam deep into the sea through the gate that was not closed. Although he drove away the humans, not long after that, the volcano that had settled on Nubra Island suddenly became active. This means that the remaining dinosaurs on the island are about to meet their second extinction. For this, the International Committee held an emergency meeting immediately, but the results of the meeting were disappointing. They thought that dinosaurs were not normal creatures of nature and had no obligation to protect them. Then they announced in the media that they would kill themselves. Claire, who heard the news, was very upset. Because she grew up watching these dinosaurs, she had to save them no matter what. So she found the founder of Jurassic Park, Wood, and hoped to get his help. Under his introduction, Claire met the Rich Mills. He told Claire that he had a remote island that could be used to settle these about to be extinct dinosaurs. But the premise is that Claire needs to provide a positioning identification on the dinosaurs. Only in this way can more species be saved. In order to continue the life of the dinosaurs, Claire did not think much and agreed. But there is another tricky problem, which is how to capture the Jurassic Park. For this, Claire found the former Jurassic master, Owen. As the former owner of Jurassic Park, only Owen could complete this task. Soon, a group of people boarded the plane and flew to Nubra Island, but they found that a large number of mercenaries had been stationed here for a long time. They said they were guarding the island for them, but they were hiding. Under the leadership of Captain Aiken, they came to the control center of the park. This place has been broken for a long time. Fortunately, the equipment inside has not yet been destroyed. Then Claire restarted the tracking system and determined the location of the dinosaurs. The first thing they wanted to take away was the Jurassic Park that Owen grew up with. Soon, Owen found it deep in the woods. Although it hasn't been seen for many years, Nubra can still recognize the former owner. But when Owen was about to touch Nubra, the mercenaries around him surrounded him. Nubra, who felt threatened, rushed up and bit him right away. They shot Nubra in panic, and Owen, who was angry, was also shot by Captain Aiken with an anesthetic gun. It turned out that this was not a rescue operation at all, but a trick of Miles. They just wanted to use Owen to catch the Jurassic Park. Then, the mercenaries put the dinosaurs in the car and began to evacuate. At this time, the volcano had begun to erupt, but Owen was still anesthetized and was completely abandoned outside. If it weren't for the Chinese dinosaur that was passing by, he would have been eaten by the hot lava. Owen, who escaped death, saw lava all over the place and was furious. At the same time, Claire was also trapped in the control room. The lava began to infiltrate from the roof. They were ready to escape from the only passage. Unexpectedly, they came out of it and hit the corridor. The fallen lava forcibly formed a barrier and temporarily isolated the dinosaurs. Claire and Frank took the opportunity to climb onto the air defense duct and escaped in the moment of life and death. They closed the passage together and trapped the dinosaurs in this place forever. At this time, the volcano had completely erupted. The blazing lava was like a shooting star hitting all over the island. At this time, Owen came running for 2 people. Not only that, there were a lot of dinosaurs behind him. A few people tried to hide behind a dead tree in order not to be frightened. Fortunately, they found a sightseeing ball at the end. But before they could sit down and wait for Owen to go in, a carnivorous bullfrog found them, but the carnivorous bullfrog suddenly ran away to one side. The Chinese dinosaur launched an attack. However, the dinosaur was not a good person. He immediately gave a very strong counterattack. He saw that he couldn't do anything with the dinosaur. He could only stand up and aim at Owen again. Who knew that the next second, the King's Dragon stepped on the bullfrog. At this time, he looked like a king. In the face of disaster, people and dragons are equal. They had no time to hesitate and could only continue to escape, but the cliff was in front of them. Owen, who was behind them, was also gradually engulfed by the thick smoke. Fortunately, all the goods on the huge impact wave were washed into the sea together. But the bad thing is that a lava hit the sightseeing ball floating on the water. The glass broke in an instant under the hot temperature, causing a lot of seawater to start to flow. It was obvious that Claire was going to die. Owen came in time at the critical moment. He used a dagger to pry open the glass door and rescued them. When they returned to the shore, they found that the mercenaries were transporting the dinosaurs. They were all injected with anesthetic. They even pulled the dinosaurs' teeth. At this time, the volcano behind them erupted again. It will soon swallow the whole island. The 3 of them didn't dare to delay and rushed to the cargo ship, but a few steps away, Frank was blown to pieces. Owen immediately went forward to save people. Claire then went to start the truck. At this time, the cargo ship had already already left the port. After the two of them got on the car, Claire rushed up with a kick. Claire, fortunately, at the last moment, she was already on the cargo ship. At this time, the whole island had been completely swallowed by the lava. The dinosaurs that could not be transported could only stand on the shore and accept the trial of fate. This trip was like going back to the era of the extinction of dinosaurs 10 million years ago. On the other side, Miles was discussing the dinosaur auction. It turned out that his ambition was not only to sell dinosaurs. He found Dr. Henry, who had previously developed the Tyrannosaurus. He was going to use the gene of the Tyrannosaurus to transform it into a stronger gene weapon. He thought everything was mysterious. He didn't expect that everything would be heard by Macy, the granddaughter of Woods. He was in a hurry to tell this news to his grandfather. When Woods heard that the dinosaurs were auctioned, he immediately called Miles for a scolding. It was obvious that what he had done had been exposed. Miles fortunately killed Woods, the biggest cornerstone. At the same time, Owen, who was still on the cargo ship, found Bruce. At this moment, the heavy bullet of Bruce is constantly bleeding. Under the hard work of everyone, Bruce's injury was controlled. The bullets shot into the body were also successfully removed. Then Owen managed to get into the car. He followed the transport of the dinosaurs to the rich castle, but unfortunately, he was found by Captain Aiken. Then he was locked in the underground cell with the dinosaurs. For Miles, everything was under control. The auction will be held as scheduled. All kinds of dinosaurs appeared one by one. They were even sold for tens of millions of dollars. The only thing that was miscalculated was that Macy found his dead grandfather. And while Miles didn't pay attention to the opportunity to escape, just when Owen and Claire were about to die, the next door cell suddenly heard a scream. Owen saw his roommate next door and thought of a way to escape. Under Owen's constant provocation, Lynn and Long forcefully broke through the wall. Then Owen grabbed the opportunity to quickly move to the front of the cell to continue the provocation. In this way, he easily broke through the cage. The escaped Owen and Claire found Macy. At this moment, Macy was sad for his grandfather's death. When they found Save the Dinosaurs, they saw hope, so they immediately brought Owen to the auction. At this time, the auction also came to the Asian section. They only saw a brand new Tyrannosaurus sent out. It combines the attack of the Tyrannosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus's body. It can even lock the target according to the laser beam of the human red line. The rich businessman under the stage couldn't help but go crazy. Owen, who was looking at all this upstairs, even knew that he could never let this monster leave. Otherwise, it would be another disaster. Just when Owen was thinking about how to deal with it, the lost Macy collided again. Owen looked at the elevator next door and heard a scream. He locked Macy into the elevator and sent her downstairs. The security guard was confused and turned around. Before he could react, he was hit by Macy's head. The auction was suddenly messed up by him. The auction was also forced to be terminated. The rich businessmen were scared and ran away from the scene. Captain Aiken outside was not ready to come in to clean up the mess. But he saw the Tyrannosaurus in the cage. He fired 2 shots at Macy. The Tyrannosaurus fell to the ground. Then he opened the iron cage and walked in without fear of death. He confidently took out the tiger's money and was ready to pull out the other party's teeth. But at this time, the Tyrannosaurus's tail suddenly curled up. It turned out that the Tyrannosaurus was just pretending to be Macy and deliberately set a trap. Captain Aiken's suicide completely cut off his life. And the auctioneer in the corner was scared and ran to the elevator after seeing this scary scene. As a result, he found several colleagues in there. He pulled out a teammate randomly. The scream immediately attracted the attention of the Tyrannosaurus. Then he ran up the hall. The elevator was closed in time at a critical moment. Everyone escaped for a while, but the Tyrannosaurus accidentally broke the elevator switch at the turn of the turn. The next second, the elevator is opened again. These people also became the target of the Tyrannosaurus. On the other hand, Owen and others were about to escape, but they were stopped by Miles. He told everyone a shocking secret. It turns out that Woods doesn't have a grandson, and he also mastered the dinosaur gene technology. The identity of Bacchus is also worth doubting. However, the flower hasn't fallen yet. Those who haven't figured out the truth can only escape to the lobby first, but the Tyrannosaurus quickly found the evidence by the shock. But they obviously underestimated the Tyrannosaurus, which is composed of many genes. Standing at the peak, he soon found the key. Run! The 3 of them can only escape again. The Tyrannosaurus is chasing behind. Fortunately, they managed to escape with the help of a small ladder, but this monster's IQ is very high. He soon found the key hidden behind the window. Fortunately, the obstacle caught the Tyrannosaurus's neck. In this opportunity, Clyde immediately let Miles escape first. But the Tyrannosaurus seems to have a grudge against him. He has been chasing behind. Fortunately, Miles ran all the way to the attic. At the same time, Blue was also released. He immediately knocked down the security guard in front of him. When the other person came, he accidentally shot the flammable gas. Clever Blue quickly solved the battle and escaped before the explosion. At this time, Miles hid in the quilt because of fear. And the Tyrannosaurus climbed to the roof to smell the scent and look for it everywhere. Soon he walked through the balcony step by step into Miles' bedroom. He slowly reached out to Miles. At this time, Owen was also holding a gun, although he fired a few shots at the Tyrannosaurus. Owen's weapons were not enough to pose a threat to him. The Tyrannosaurus turned around and slowly approached Owen. At the critical moment, Blue came in time and unhesitatingly rushed to the Tyrannosaurus. While the 2 beasts were biting each other, Owen and Miles climbed to the roof from the balcony. After the 2 came to the glass ceiling, the Tyrannosaurus also chased up. Due to his overweight, he stepped on the ceiling. For this, he could only choose to walk in the middle of the beam. At this time, Clyde appeared behind with a special weapon. He was going to cooperate with Owen to subdue the Tyrannosaurus, but he didn't expect the plan to fail. This guy actually grabbed the beam and climbed up the wall. Just at this desperate moment, Blue suddenly appeared. He flew straight to the Tyrannosaurus and successfully brought it down to the roof. In the end, the Tyrannosaurus was pierced by a triangle-shaped fossil, and Blue stepped on it and survived. At this time, the poisonous gas in the lab has spread to the underground cell of the Tyrannosaurus. Clyde hesitated again and again and still didn't have the courage to press the door switch, because once these dinosaurs enter the human city, the consequences will be unimaginable. Just when they were watching the door of the Tyrannosaurus being poisoned, it was suddenly opened. It turned out that Miles pressed the switch, so all the trapped dinosaurs ran to all the places in the city. After that, Blue and Owen also made their final trip, then they all dived into the jungle. The dinosaurs have entered the human world. Humans also began to reflect on the disaster caused by themselves. Since the first extinct dinosaur reappeared in the world, the disaster has been inevitable. The Jurassic World where humans and dinosaurs live together is now officially open. No commentary can replace the original film. A good movie is worth experiencing the whole plot. Follow Ming Tian to bring you the fun and charm of the movie.